with the tweet. Welcome in to a wild and wacky Wednesday here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton here with you as we are rushing to try and get situated, but I feel like we're getting there. And that being said, we're going to have a good show.
We are going to have a good show here on Bernard Childress Day, as proclaimed by Columbia Mayor Chaz Mulder at the luncheon that we were at that has caused us to rush.
Yeah. Well, if there's anyone I'm willing to rush for, it's Bernard Childress.
Absolutely.
So, longtime friend of the show and well-deserved honor today. Across the street here in Columbia, he was honored by the Columbia Peace and Justice Initiative as their 2023 Legacy Award recipient. And very few people in this community more deserving, if any. Maybe Krista Martin, who got it last year. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the list is short.
It's a very short list. Yeah.
So congrats to Bernard, and so happy to have been able to share in that day with him. And thanks to the Columbia Peace and Justice Initiative for inviting Mo and myself. It was a pleasure, and had a good time, had a good lunch, thanks to the culinary folks from Columbia Central High School who really put on today.
They really did put on today. They did a great job with that. So, yeah.
It was well done.
So we are ready for a nap and rushing. So, yeah.
We're going to try to make it through this show without falling asleep or trying to figure something else out. But we do have, of course, Heather Williams will join us as we talk about NASCAR. We have, of course, the championship race coming up that will not include Denny Hamlin, and we're going to have to talk to Heather today.
Denny didn't have a great weekend, did he?
No, but the person that she said was the worst at Martinsville won the darn race.
Are you sure you want to bring that up with Heather?
So I'm just saying, like, hey, you had my hopes up for somebody in the bottom four to get in, and they didn't because Ryan Blaney won the stinking race. Like, what happened? And she may be able to tell us what happened. Because, hey, who knows?
She'll have an idea.
She'll have an idea of what happened. She went. I believe she went. I mean, it's in Virginia. It's not like it was that far away.
Well, I tell you what. Have you driven through Virginia?
No, but I have.
I've driven from here to Virginia Beach. Once you get into Virginia Beach is still not close. Just for what it's worth.
Yeah. Virginia is a big area. I mean, it's no Texas or anything, but it's big.
It's big. Yeah. So.
That's like those people from the UK who are like, no, I don't live close to London. You're 2.5 hours away from London. That's close. Like, I don't think you understand.
And conversely, people that think that it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Nashville to Knoxville.
Yeah, it's farther now.
So you don't just pop over there.
Exactly. So anyway, we got a lot to get to today. Let's do it. We do have some results, very few results, and very small schedule, but we have it on today's rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Women's college basketball action from Tuesday night. Freed Hardeman with a 57-42 win over UT Southern. On the men's side, Freed Hardeman completed the sweep with an 83-67 win over the Firehawks. And in exhibition play, Tennessee defeated Lenoir Ryan 90-48. Maction, Central Michigan with a 37-31 win over Northern Illinois. Toledo downs Buffalo 31-13. Snow at both? Snowed at both. Yes. Happy Halloween. On the ice, it was Vancouver with a 5-2 win over the Predators, dropping the Predators' record in Vancouver to 16-24 and 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Not so good last night. World Series Game 4. Rangers scored 5 runs in back-to-back innings. Diamondbacks scored 4 runs late, but it wasn't enough as Texas took a 2-1 lead in the series with 11-7 and they can take it out tonight at Chase Field.
Remaining undefeated on the road in the postseason.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball tonight, as Mo said, it is Game 5, and it's 7:03 on Fox tonight in Arizona. NBA action tonight. The Grizzlies are at the Jazz, and that's going to be at 8 o'clock tonight. But we also have, in addition to that, at 6 o'clock, Portland is at Detroit. Milwaukee's at Toronto. At 6:30, the Wizards are in Atlanta. Indiana is at Boston and the Celtics. Heat hosting the Nets. Knicks at home against the Cavs, and the Pelicans are at the Thunder. At 7 o'clock, the Hornets go to the Rockets. The Nuggets visit the Timberwolves at 7:30. The Bulls are at the Mavericks. And at 9 o'clock tonight, the Kings are at the Warriors. And on ESPN at 9, you can catch the Clippers and Lakers. I would say at the Lakers. I guess technically it will be because it'll have Lakers insignias on the floor, but it's
what is it?
Their arena.
Yeah, whatever that
so is. They play at the same arena. It's
technically the
Lakers home game. But
they're both at home.
So whatever. And you can see it at 9 o'clock tonight. And then finally,
more action.
Don't know if it'll be snowing in Bowling Green tonight, but we'll find out at 6 o'clock on ESPN2 as they host Ball State.
Or Akron.
It may be more likely in Akron than in Bowling Green.
Further north.
But Akron hosts Kent State at 6:30 on ESPNU, and that is your rundown. Top stories brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Make sure to go find delicious lunch there or fresh hand-cut meats, great produce, all cost plus 10 at the register. Again, it's Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Mo,
Chris.
The Tennessee Sports Writers Association, as it does each week, handed out some hardware and announced it yesterday. We like to help them with that announcement each week, and we'll do so now.
Sure. For the second time this season, Austin Peay quarterback Mike DiLiello has been named the Tennessee Sports Writers Association's Offensive Player of the Week in football. Threw for 6 touchdowns and a 49-39 win over North Alabama. Completed 20 of 25 passes for 353 yards, his 4th 300-yard game of the season. Each of his 6 touchdowns went to different receivers. They call that spreading the ball around.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah. He has thrown for 2,279 yards this season, 5th best single season mark in program history. And The Govs aren't done, by the way. Defensive players of the week. Tennessee State defensive lineman Terrell Allen. Career high 10 tackles, 7 of those solos, 4.5 sacks, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, including one on a red zone sack that the Tigers scored off of in a 43-20 win over Lindenwood. It was Allen's 3rd straight multi-sack game, and the 6.5 tackles for loss set a TSU single game record. Tennessee Tech defensive lineman Daniel Rickert forced 2 fumbles, recovered 2 fumbles. I don't know if they were the same fumbles or not, and set up 2 of Tech's 3 defensive touchdowns in a 38-13 win at Robert Morris. Okay, in the second quarter, he had a strip sack and picked it up. So 20-yard scoop and score there. In the
Man.
fourth, he forced a fumble on a sack with teammate Aaron Swafford picking it up and going 52 yards for the score.
Good Lord.
So both of his forced fumbles he did not recover, but he recovered 1 for a scoop and score. He finished with 7 total tackles, 5 solos, 2 for loss, both sacks. Tech had 6 turnovers in the game, the 3rd most in a single game in program history. So 6 turnovers in a game, pitch posh for Tennessee Tech. That ain't nothing.
That's just
Yeah.
a day at the office.
Apparently. Women's soccer, Kings Ella Froelich scored 3 goals on the week, had 2 goals and an assist in Kings' 7-1 win over Erskine, and she also scored a goal in a loss to Belmont Abbey. And in volleyball, Tennessee Tech's Jordan Carlin had 103 assists, 27 digs in Tech's 3-1 victories over Western Illinois. They beat them twice, 3-1, apparently. 12.88 assists and 3.38 digs per set she averaged, along with 4 kills, 3 service aces, and a block. And let's see, men's soccer. Do we have a men's soccer winner? We do not have a men's soccer winner this week. Not sure why. Maybe nobody played.
Perhaps.
But congratulations again to Tennessee Tech's Jordan Carlin, Kings Ella Froelich, and Austin Peay's Mike DeLello, Tennessee State's Terrell Allen, and Tennessee Tech's Daniel Rickert for their weekly honors from the Tennessee Sports Writers Association.
Top story number 2.
So I woke up this morning and checked Twitter,
As
as I want to do, and I saw a tweet from you that was a repost of a tweet from the NFL
with a quote.
with a
at
quote,
least.
yeah, and asking, so this has got to be this dude's last head coaching gig, right?
It's got Josh McDaniels fired by the Raiders
Late last night / early this morning.
I think it was.
depending
I
on
think
where
it
you-
was. Yeah, it was. It was probably late last night where he was.
Yeah, early
and
this morning
where
where we
we
were.
are.
Yeah, but
But he wasn't the only one. Mark Davis cleaning house.
well, yeah, because they also fired the GM, and apparently they are going to ride with rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo the rest of the way. So they are
Dave Ziegler's
real.
out.
Mhm.
General manager Dave Ziegler and offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi. So
Yeah.
quarterbacks coach Bo Hardigree will be promoted to offensive
Oh,
coordinator.
hard agree. That name sounds familiar.
I'm glad it does to you. I've never heard of the guy.
I think he's from West Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. That would give us there's always a Nashville connection.
Or Tennessee.
I don't know the guy.
39 years old, Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson
Jackson
Central
Central
Mary.
Mary.
How about that?
Wow. Played. His wiki says he played quarterback at Tennessee from 04 to 07.
If he played,
Played is doing a lot of work right there.
yeah, I don't know about that one. He might have been on the team.
He was a grad assistant at Duke. Probably went over there with cut.
Undercut, yeah.
Intern at LSU, and then he got into the NFL with Denver in 2014 as offensive quality control
2014.
coach.
Is there a reason he might have been in Denver in 2014? Was that not Peyton's final year with the Broncos?
That makes sense. Wow.
Huh.
Offensive assistant with the Bears in 15, quarterbacks coach in Miami from 16 to 18, 2 years with the Jets as an offensive assistant, 1 year with the Patriots as an offensive assistant, has been in Vegas for the last 2 years. Goodness. Hey, right place, right time. I ain't mad at him. But I would like to know who did start for UT from 04 to 07.
That would be the Bo. What was the
Tyler Bray?
What was the kid that went from Tennessee to Ole Miss? Brent Schaefer. That would have been that era of Tennessee quarterbacks. So yeah, Brent Schaefer. Eric Ainge was a freshman. Rick Clausen's in there. Yeah, Ainge ended up taking the job in 04 through Mr. Hardegree's career.
Yeah. So
In fact, he's not even listed on the
On the roster?
sportsreference.com. Like there are 3 quarterbacks listed: Eric
Yeah.
Ainge, Rick Clausen, and Brent Schaefer. Playing is doing a lot of work.
a lot of work.
But hey, he's now the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. So
yeah, so he doesn't even need that. But
who cares?
there are a couple of pictures of him wearing number 14 for UT.
Of course he was
When you-
number 14. Of course he was. It's the best number.
Is it?
Well, Chris Yao, 14.
Oh, shit.
It's the best number.
Wow.
So, man, how about that? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that there's a Tennessee connection. How about
6'5", 215. That's what he was listed
that?
at.
Can't miss him on the sideline.
Goodness gracious, yeah. Signal shouldn't be a problem.
Well, assistant GM Champ Kelly will serve as interim general manager, and
And Antonio Pierce will serve as interim coach. That's another familiar name. I don't know where I know it from.
you come up with that one again with another
I don't think it's
pull
UT.
like that. I mean, gosh, he's from Ontario.
Oh, okay. It must not be
Played
who
with
I'm
the
thinking of.
Redskins and Giants, though. He had an 8-year career in the NFL, so
Okay.
that's probably where you've heard.
Linebacker? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And played at Arizona. Undrafted. See, undrafted free agents. Justin, you still got a shot.
That's right.
Heather Williams remembers him from Knoxville.
Bo Hardegree, apparently.
But
Well, I'm glad she does. Good for her. That's awesome.
that is
I do not.
a wild.
Like I said, I think I remember more from Jackson
Yeah,
than I
from
do
J-
from UT.
There you go, man. Well, yeah. So this is where the Raiders sit, and they're not the only ones who are firing coaches today, because the Bears have fired David Walker, running backs coach, over workplace behavior,
Oh,
according to Courtney Cronin of ESPN.
oh. Okay. Here's where I know Antonio Pierce from. He was an assistant at Arizona State back when all that stuff was going on.
With Herm,
Yeah, right after
Gotcha.
COVID, I think.
gotcha. He was one of those.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. So the Bears are out here dealing with, was it some
Their-
coach quit because of
Was it their defensive
defensive
coordinator?
coordinator?
Yeah.
quit because of personal issues. And now running backs coach David Walker has been fired due to behavior in the workplace. He'd been previously reprimanded by the Bears HR department for workplace conduct. And this was a second such instance which led to his firing. So,
Goodness.
yeah,
Okay.
the NFL is having a day. And so the Packers said, great time for us to point out that we may or may not be sure about Jordan Love. Seems like a good time to let that information go.
The day after the trade deadline.
Look,
What are they saying?
and here's the thing. So I'm assuming Davis got fired because he didn't make any trades and was going to ride with Garoppolo. And so anyway.
Ziegler, you mean? The Raiders GM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the trade deadline is getting a lot of folks today.
Apparently. It was something, yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Falcons are benching Ritter for Heineke. So Taylor Heineke versus Josh Dobbs on Sunday. It's an absolute just ridiculous week in the National Football League. But
I want to dive deeper into this Packers GM unsure if Jordan Love long-term future of franchise. I mean, I know we're probably needing to go to a break, but that's why would you say that?
we can get to it in just a minute. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of spots.
Okay,
So
let's
let's keep
revisit this.
Well,
Yeah.
this and very simply, this has to be Josh McDaniels' last head coaching gig, right?
One would think. Yeah. Let's revisit.
We've tried it twice.
And it failed miserably
It
both
has
times.
not worked.
No, not only has it not worked,
but it's been awful.
oh,
Great offensive coordinator,
and that's okay.
not a great head coach.
Well, great offensive coordinator in New England.
Well, yeah, but he did it with everybody he did it with. And it wasn't just Brady. So I'll give him credit for being a great offensive coordinator. Just not a good head coach. And you know what? That's just how it goes sometimes.
It really does.
Let's take a break. Heather is on the line. We will talk to her about Martinsville and the championship race in Phoenix coming up. So y'all stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you. No matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo Patton all dressed up, wearing the tie, looking fly here on this Wednesday.
Yeah, fly is probably a little much.
I think it looks good. Looks good. And I'm not the first person to say that today.
You're not the first person to say it. I think it's just because I so seldom do it.
I get that. I get that. We don't wear ties a lot in this business anymore. Used to.
Yeah.
Used to be the standard, but
I just felt like Bernard Childress was being honored. I needed to look my best.
I hear you. Well, there's that. And everyone, at least two people talked about, looking up to Bernard and wanting a shirt and tie job. So it turns out that, shirt and tie jobs are cool, even if you don't have to wear a tie.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Heather Williams joining us, and she looks her best every day, but she chooses to join us via audio, which is probably for the best.
We're not going to get to see Heather today. That's kind of disappointing.
Well,
I saw you in your suit, and I am not up to those standards on my day.
Shoot, listen to you. Heather, before we talk NASCAR, I want to talk about this little comment in our private chat here. How do you
I didn't see. I mean, I just remembered the name being on the team. He didn't do anything.
No.
I mean, he was there.
Yes, I remember him being
on
there.
campus occasionally.
Yeah, clearly he was there again, as witnessed by a couple of pictures of him on the
Didn't
World Wide
Schaefer wear
Web.
14?
Ooh,
I'm pretty sure Brent
That's a
Schaefer
good
wore 14
question.
when he was at Tennessee.
Well, given how much
you're
No.
right. Yeah.
given how much he played, there could have been more than 114 at the time.
Exactly. They just put 14 on everybody who was never going to get in the game. That's how it goes.
Well, except Eric Berry.
Well, I'm in at quarterback.
Oh, okay. Yes, Brent Schaefer was number 7.
So anyway,
Yeah.
it's
In
just
those
like-
god awful jerseys with the orange shoulders
Oh,
and the white. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
not great times. Not great
No,
times.
no. Okay. All right. Let's shift to
We certainly can.
the primary purpose of having Heather on the show as our NASCAR correspondent.
Let's talk a little NASCAR
Yeah.
because Heather, you said that Ryan Blaney struggles at
He's
Martinsville.
never won there.
And well, that's not true anymore.
No, it's
Um,
not.
Of course, he hadn't won in a lot of places until Sunday. So you had a really good chance, and except that this guy really wanted a spot in the Final Four. He went out and got it.
Yeah, and the whole Penske team, they were being down this season. It just also signs pointed to him not being the guy, but they apparently hit on something here in the last month of the season, because not only is Blaney running better, but the 22 is running much better. And if they had hit on this 6 weeks ago, he might also be in the conversation for the championship. They just have really figured some things out, and there's something to be said about old momentum, because they have it right now, and I consider it him and Larson to be the two favorites going into this Final Four, although they're pretty close, all four of them. But I like those two drivers the best going into the weekend.
Well, this was a really intriguing race, and obviously, NASCAR's had its issues with this car in on tracks like Martinsville, but when you have what you have on the line, it certainly gets a little easier to watch because there was a lot of drama throughout the day.
Yeah, just watching, Denny Hamlin drive almost a perfect race and it still not be enough to get into the championship, to watch the up and down of William Byron as he fought to stay in the championship after having a huge lead coming in there. Martin Truex Jr., trying to find something, throwing Hail Marys, trying to get track position, whatever. And
on the pole and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to me because we may look back at this particular race in 5 years and see it as the changing of the guards, right? Because when you look at this championship 4, Kyle Larson's the oldest at age 31. I mean, this could be a real change for the next generation of NASCAR guys. Harvick's retiring, Amarola's out of a ride. And it's likely going to be, these young guys carrying the sport for the next 10 years or so. I think Hamlin probably still has a couple more runs in him. I'm not sure about Truex. I mean, this is really their sport now.
And it's neat to see. I mean, when you think about guys like William Byron and Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, it really feels like these young dudes are, they belong. Sometimes you don't feel like the young guys belong, but these guys belong.
Oh yeah, these guys are definitely. I mean, they're close to superstars in their own right now. Without Hamlin and Harvick and Truex pulling them along. I mean, the most popular driver is Chase Elliott. It's not one of these old guys. So, yeah, they're definitely there, but there's always been one of those older guys, because really Logano, even though he's in his mid to late 30s, he's kind of considered to be one of the older guys. He won the championship last year. I mean, there's always been those older guys hanging around, even when the younger guys have won in the championship 4. But this year, it's all about the youngsters.
And like you mentioned, 39-year-old Eric Almirola is out of Stewart-Haas, and that just that's just another name for another ride for a young guy, maybe Noah Gragson or someone to step in and fill that role.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go youth in that ride for sure. I've heard some names, not official, but I think we can all probably connect the dots on who it's going to be. And yeah, you're going to just see, you've got a young-ish, he's a little bit older, around 30, and Josh Berry going into Harvick's car, but you're really going to see, the young guys take over the sport. It's that time. It happens every 10 years or so, where you turn guys over.
As we look ahead to Phoenix and the championship, it's interesting. Obviously the names are different, but the numbers are familiar and the teams are familiar. Obviously Kyle Larson has had success, but it's not unusual to see the 12 and 24, racing for a championship. And I'm curious, how does that play, when you're talking about, guys who are fans of teams rather than just, particular drivers?
Well, yeah, it's all the usual suspects, just different drivers, right? I mean, it's Gibbs, it's Penske, it's Hendrick, and, even maybe not the 20 cars specifically, But certainly Gibbs has been in that mix as well. Christopher Bell was in the Final Four last year, so he's got experience in this situation, much like Kyle Larson does. Uh, it's generally going to be that way, with these top 4 or 5 organizations in the championship 4, because I mean, it just takes resources and engineering and things that, while a team like a Front Row Motorsports can make a nice playoff run, they're probably not going to get in the Final Four. Roush Fenway Keselowski had a pretty good season this year, but they're probably still a little bit away from, unless you win a race or find a little luck along the way, they're probably, as you saw by how Chris Buescher, who was the hottest guy coming into the playoffs, but really didn't have much performance at all once he got in the playoffs. I mean, it just kicks to another level. It's like the playoffs in every sport. People find another gear. Teams that weren't necessarily the front runners all year, hello, Texas Rangers, are all of a sudden finding a second gear in the postseason. And, here we are.
So Heather, let me ask you, and Chris could probably answer this as well, but Chris isn't the NASCAR correspondent for this show. The championship 4 is Larson, Bell, Blaney, and Byron going into Phoenix.
Correct.
Whichever one of them wins this race wins the championship.
Whoever finishes the highest in the race.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask you. If a non-playoff driver wins the race, the highest of those 4 finishers is your NASCAR champion for 2023.
Yeah, I mean, if they all have a massive wreck on lap 1 and finish, 30, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st, whoever finished 28th is your champion.
Wow. Okay. Would be pretty anticlimactic if the 4 of them are not running, though, right?
And unusual, because I believe every champion has won this race since they went to this format. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I mean, it just.
Do you think there's? I mean, are other guys? I mean, is there a reason for that? Are other guys kind of laying off, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, a little bit. I mean, I certainly think that drivers don't want to be the guy.
Guy who wrecks somebody.
Wrecks somebody who's running for a championship, right? Like the last thing Bubba Wallace wants to do is spin out Ryan Blaney, since they're friends. I'll use them. Even on accident, and put him in the wall and his championship hopes. So I think a little bit, but also, I mean, cream rises to the top. And Phoenix is the kind of track where driver matters as much as horsepower as a short track. So these are the best 4 drivers. And so those guys are going to find themselves at the front more often than not.
I think that's absolutely true. Outside of this race, have you gotten a chance to see the Mustang Dark Horse run?
I have not, but man, it looks good.
It does look cool. Is that are the hood vents? Is that going to actually be on the NASCAR on the cars?
I mean, I don't know if they'll be elevated. Usually, they try to make those bodies look as much as what they look like. They might be stickered on there or something. I'm not sure, because I haven't seen them in person, but they do now, especially the next gen, really try to make those noses and those bodies look a lot more like the actual cars that they're modeled after. I mean, I would guess probably not, unless the other 2 cars had some kind of similar thing, because it would be either an advantage or a disadvantage aerodynamically to the cars. So I would say they're probably not.
Okay. Well, and those may be stickers.
Yeah, my guess is that they are, because when you look at the fronts of the grills of those cars,
those are stickers too.
Yeah, all the great, headlights and grills and all that kind of stuff. None of that is there. It's just a rounded piece of well, I guess they're fiber compound at this point, but none of that's real.
So it does look good, though. man,
Mhm.
Ford especially in a world where, Mustangs are SUVs now.
Oh, please, I can't even start on that. I can't.
Mm.
It's
And-
so weird.
And Mavericks are trucks. Yeah. Yes.
Buddy, I got nothing.
The Ford SUV. Look, my dad worked for Ford for 40 years. We're a Ford family. The Mustang SUV is an abomination. I'm
An
sorry.
abomination.
Not. It's awful.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is just not what you're supposed. It's just weird, and they don't even look good either. But whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we expect this weekend? Good racing, good weather.
Yes, for sure. We didn't even really talk about. I think that they've hit on a little bit of something in the short tracks. Like I thought Martinsville was a fairly decent short track race.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
the greatest Martinsville race of all time? No, but it was better. So I think they hit on something. So I think Phoenix has a chance to be a better race than some of the short tracks have been in recent years in the next gen era of NASCAR. All four of these guys are good short track racers. And Phoenix is a better track for Blaney historically than Martinsville has been. It's been a decent track for Christopher Bell. Obviously, Larson won to win the championship there a few years ago. William Byron won there, I believe, in the spring of this year. So, I expect all of these guys to come ready to go. In my TV show that we recorded a couple days ago that hasn't aired yet, I'm picking Kyle Larson. I think if you give the 5-car race at Phoenix all the Hendrick manpower and a 2-week head start on everyone else, that dude is going to be tough to beat. But I also think, as I mentioned before, Ryan Blaney is the guy who brings in all the confidence, swagger, and momentum. So I expect it to be a lot of fun.
I would agree with you. I am looking forward to it. I think, obviously, championship, anything is always fun to watch, just because there's so much drama involved from the beginning to end, especially in NASCAR when, at any point a fender could fly off and everybody goes down. Who knows? I mean, or a tire particularly, although they fixed the tire issue, it appears, especially for the Fords, which Ryan Blaney is very thankful for, I'm sure.
I think we're all thankful for. Who wants
Yeah.
to start dodging flying tires around?
So that's been good. Haven't had to talk about that much. So kudos to fixing that issue. But you never know. It could happen. Somebody,
Well,
doesn't
I
get
think
that
part
lug
of
nut
that.
on.
I think part of that goes on the teams too, right? They're always trying to shortcut pit stops, and I think the teams got tired of having to lose crew chiefs and crew members. So I think that they have the stops are still lightning quick, but they've gotten better at hitting the lug nuts on hard, better at feeling and understanding when the tire's loose before they take off, or if they take off and come in back around, and just taking their time a little bit. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am probably with you on the 5 just because the experience, and he won the first race in the last segment. So that gives him a leg up, and all of the other things that go along with the fact that, well, Kyle Larson's just really good at driving cars.
Yes.
So
Yes, he is.
That's certainly a solid pick.
Yeah, it certainly helps. So anyway, we look
By the way,
forward
on a
to it.
completely unrelated note,
What's up?
if the Chargers and or Broncos would like to hire Josh McDaniels, I would be for that.
Well, he's been in Denver once. I don't think they're going down that road again.
No, it's
But
okay. He's better now.
But you sound like Rick Pitino trying to talk UT into keeping Wade Houston back
Exactly.
in the day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, before we do let you go, though, you did reference the Texas Rangers a second ago. Is the parade in Elizabethton being planned yet?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some sort of party. I haven't really talked to anyone out there since I talked to his high school coach during the divisional series. So I do need to reach back out to to coach Presnell and see. I know that they're planning on having planning on having a camp and doing some things in the off season. I think the first thing that he'll probably do is try to find a house. It's my understanding that he's not had a home or even an apartment since he left AA. So
Oh, wow. We're talking about Evan Carter, the Texas Rangers left fielder. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is he playing
Yes.
left or is he playing center? Left.
I
Who
believe he
actually,
plays left. Yeah.
who actually hit fourth a couple of
did.
nights ago. I don't know if he hit fourth last night or not, but he was hitting fourth in game 3 as a rookie.
Yeah, I think I saw he was the 4th youngest player to hit cleanup in the World Series.
It's
So
amazing.
yeah,
It's
he finally
amazing.
had it. He finally had his hit streak in the postseason broken
At
last night.
13. Yeah. Yeah. After hitting in each of his first 13 games in the
Yeah.
postseason, that's not bad. And he's still got rookie status, does he not?
He does. He was a September call up, so he will be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year.
And got a pretty good head start on it, I guess. So
Yeah, I would think he would be the preseason favorite if we did polls like we do with college. I would think he would be the preseason pick for sure.
yeah, the pride of Elizabeth and Evan Carter.
Jason Witten would like a word, but
It's been a while.
it has been a while.
What have you done for me lately, Jason?
Right.
I come back to coach.
How ironic is it though that they're both doing it in the Metroplex?
That is weird.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of ironic, or a great coincidence that they're both down there. And I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if Jason isn't, at some of those games cheering him on.
Yeah, wearing a jersey and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, his brother is still the head football coach at Elizabethton, so he's pretty connected in what goes on at that high school. When he was playing in the NFL, he came back quite a bit for games, but now that he's coaching high school himself, obviously he doesn't.
Did Evan play football?
No, he played baseball and basketball. If he did, he was not an impact player. I do not remember him on the football team.
Sort of like Bo Hardiger.
Yeah.
There we go. Heather Williams.
What's so crazy about him in high school is that he was not really known as a hitter or a fielder. He was a
pitcher.
Yeah, he was a pitcher. And when I talked to his head coach, Presnell, when they were in the divisional series, he told me that the reason why Evan was not a great hitter in high school is that he was too disciplined. Pitches that obviously in the pros or even in high level college, because he signed with Duke, were clearly strikes. But in high school, when your kids are struggling to hit the strike zone, they might give you a pitch 4 inches off the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't swing at those.
Oh.
And it would frustrate Evan because he obviously knows those are not really strikes. But he just had that kind of discipline even at 14, 15 years old.
That's interesting.
That is.
That is a really great tidbit. See, that's what you get here on Main Street Sports Today. Interesting tidbits about the World Series.
From our NASCAR correspondent.
from the NASCAR correspondent and all of the things that we bring here. Heather, as always, a pleasure. Glad you're in. Glad we got you on Wednesday so that Sunday could sink away by the time that we got you on this show.
Oh, you had to bring it up, didn't you?
Because you and I both were probably throwing
for
up,
different reasons,
but throwing up on Sunday as the Chiefs just.
Well, we had something in common with Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean,
yeah.
I didn't get to watch the game because
would have been great to know that he had the flu.
Yeah, but I mean, the Chiefs had beaten Denver 16 straight times. Clearly, that was not going to go on forever.
They were due.
So, I mean, it's the second loss of the year. They're still tied for first in the AFC. I'm not that upset about it. Those games happen. Now, if it happens again, then we might have a problem. But one of those games, not a big deal.
You're not upset, but Patrick Mahomes only scored 6 points in fantasy.
Chris does not care about the Chiefs, Heather.
The man had the flu, and the thing is that
but
the man
nobody knew.
Right. Well, he was on the injury report.
I would have started somebody else. But if he's going to play,
but see,
you figure he don't have the flu no more.
But see, here's the thing: he still played pretty well. You should
Yeah,
not
he
be
really
mad
did.
at Patrick
He
Mahomes.
just-
You should be mad at Sky Moore.
No, they really he really didn't play poorly. I mean, outside of the fumble, but yeah, he didn't play poorly at all. It was just
I mean, my favorite comment about the week.
just didn't score.
Yeah, my favorite comment. Yeah, but he had 2 touchdowns dropped.
Yeah,
I mean, my favorite comment from the weekend was, good news is for Sky Moore, he won't catch the flu from Patrick Mahomes because he can't catch anything from Patrick Mahomes.
wow, that's great. That's a good one.
On
And
That's
that
a
note,
really good one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So we'll end on that one. But
We
always,
will.
Heather, thank you so much.
yeah,
It was fun, guys.
thanks.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll revisit the NFL discussion and some big news out of Nashville in professional football. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company Technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton. It is Wild and Wacky Wednesday, and let's revisit a conversation that we just had a little bit earlier and didn't get to finish about the Packers and Jordan Love, because there are reports out there that Jordan Love may or may not be the future at quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
He's got another year left on his deal, according to ESPN.com. But they would rather.
Is that the 5th year option? Because he was a rookie. This is his rookie deal.
Mhm.
Is it the 5th year option?
I guess.
So they may or may not exercise said option. Interesting. Okay.
They would rather it not take more than this season to know whether he's the answer. Excuse me. I have to say, I've not kept up enough with Green Bay. Maybe I should call Jody. I don't know.
I was going to say,
But I've
we know
not
someone
kept
who
up enough
does.
with Green Bay to know whether this uncertainty is founded or unfounded. Opponents have outscored Green Bay 73-9 in the first half of the past 5 games. Okay. Minus 59 first half point total. First half point differential is tied for second worst in the NFL. Plus 42 in the second half, which is the second best in the league. GM Brian Gutekunst describes Love's play as a little up and down, and I guess those numbers would indicate that.
Yeah, but doesn't Jordan Love have the same issue that Aaron Rodgers always fought? He ain't got nobody else. Is it you got Watson? Is it Daubs? Doubs, whatever.
Fourth-year tight end Josiah DeGuara is the only receiver or tight end with more than 2 years of experience.
I mean, maybe those guys are good, but we don't really know. I mean, I've seen Watson drop some sure touchdowns.
He's last in completion rate among the 32 qualifying quarterbacks. The only one, well, he's ahead of, just behind the Jets' Zach Wilson. You don't want to be behind Zach Wilson in anything. But
Okay, so I'm looking here. Okay. They have them listed with just one drop on the year. So there you go.
Gutekunst, I don't know exactly how you pronounce that. Gutekunst. The GM's comments came 2 days after coach Matt LaFleur said it's been difficult to evaluate Love to this point. I think in order to do that, I think everybody's got to play better around him, quite frankly, LaFleur said Monday. Are there some things he can do better? Absolutely. I think he'd be the first to tell you. Are there some things we can do as a staff to help our guys? Absolutely. And then when there are plays to be made, we've got to make the plays. But it all comes back to the quarterback, I guess.
Well, I mean, quarterback is always going to get the most praise and the most blame. I mean, and that's what we've seen with Ryan Tannehill over the last couple of years. I mean, he's, despite all of the issues that the Titans have had, he gets a lot of the blame, and then that's what's happening in Green Bay. But look, the fact is that if you didn't think Green Bay was going to struggle this year, you weren't
paying attention.
You weren't being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And if Packers fans are turning on the team because of this season, that's ridiculous. I don't think Packers fans turn on the team for anything.
No, I don't think so. The Packers appear headed for a top 10 draft pick this offseason unless they can turn things around, beginning with Sunday's game against the Rams, which could be a good place to turn things around, by the way.
Yeah, it'll give you certainly an opportunity.
With Tuesday's trade of Rasul Douglas to the Bills, they picked up a 2024 third-round pick. So Green Bay will have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, which gives them plenty of flexibility if they need to pick another quarterback. How many quarterbacks are there in this draft becomes the question, because it sounds like a lot of people are going to be in that mix.
A lot.
I hope so.
The 2024 quarterback draft class includes Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Riley Leonard, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Pratt of Tulane, Jaden Daniels, Quinn Ewers. Yeah. It's as deep of a quarterback draft as we've ever seen. I can't think of one that was 10 deep.
Well, that's good.
So if you're in the market
Hopefully
for a
they can all
quarterback,
play.
And that's one reason that the Titans need to figure out if Will Levis is there.
Is the guy.
Because there's an opportunity there if he's not.
Well, and I think that, that's what we have talked about, thought about throughout this season, since we didn't really get to see Will Levis during the preseason, and we felt like, fairly or otherwise, we had seen all of Malik Willis we needed to see. We need to see Levis just to know, because if they don't have their quarterback on the roster, they got to go get one. They're not going to go sign a free agent. So they got to draft one. So they got to know between now and the end of this season if Will Levis is the guy.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll talk more Titans here
We will.
in just a second, I guess.
Just a moment, because Terry McCormick is standing by, and we'll talk about the Titans and get his top of the hour Titan report right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Stick around.
He shoots and he scores!
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Terry McCormick bringing you now your daily Titans report. What's up, Terry?
Guys, we've been talking a lot about the quarterback situation with Will Levis and his debut, which certainly was very entertaining and very successful. And then obviously the trade deadline up until yesterday was a big topic of conversation, but something's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle here. And that's what I want to address today with you guys here on our daily Titans report brought to you by Zen Sports. The play of Teair Tart and his return on Sunday, I think that was a much bigger deal than anybody maybe made it out to be, because the two games this guy was gone, you saw the defense kind of not play its best football. But when he comes back, and I'm not saying it's all on him, but when he comes back, he makes a big, big difference. And that's something I think that not only Tart has probably noticed, and Vrabel has probably noticed, and Rand Carthen has noticed. I'm guessing Drew Rosenhaus has noticed that too. So that's going to be interesting to see once we get to the offseason what they decide they want to do with a nose tackle who's about to head into free agency, and a guy that they basically developed from the outset as he came in as an undrafted.
You think Drew Rosenhaus noticed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't miss a beat. I think if the Titans don't pay Teair Tart, somebody's going to pony up and pay him a pretty sum. And it's, the one thing about him, and I think that's what Mike Vrabel continues to push him on, is that sometimes he gets a little lax and not quite as motivated as he should be, it appears. But when he's motivated to play and to take his game to another level beyond just being a run stuffer, he's a pretty special player, especially paired in there alongside Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, Teair Tart certainly gives you a little extra in that pass rush that looked really good on Sunday and could look even better tomorrow night in Pittsburgh.
I think that's going to be a very interesting game. I think it has it's shaping up to me, and I know that the Titans are all excited about what Will Levis brought. But when you go on the road to Pittsburgh and on a short week in a hostile environment like that, it's very tough to ask a rookie quarterback to duplicate a performance like that. I think this has got the makings of a 16-10 type of ball game where somebody makes a crucial turnover and somebody cashes in on it, and that's the difference in the ball game. What do you guys think?
I'm interested from the standpoint that Kenny Pickett injured his ribs against Jacksonville Sunday and did not return. Mitch Trubisky finished up that game. Pickett says he's going to play Thursday night. Whether it be Pickett or Trubisky, I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes because, this defensive line, when it manages to affect the quarterback, as a certain coach likes to say, it takes that defense to another level. And both those guys are affectable, I would dare say.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, if they're deciding between Pickett and Trubisky, they're not having the problem that Bill Walsh had deciding between Joe Montana and Steve Young. That fair to say?
No, I think that's as fair as it gets.
I think you're all over that one. Yeah.
Well, here is something that you can be aware of, that tomorrow night it's going to be about 45 degrees, but at least it won't be snowing. So,
Yeah. It's another thing too. Yeah. That type of weather, you can deal with that. It's not ideal, but that is football weather. And the other thing too is up there in Pittsburgh at the place formerly known as Heinz Field, it's always going to be Heinz Field to me, no matter what they change the name to. There's one end that is particularly trouble for field goal kickers. And Nick Folk has not missed a kick all year, but he's going to have a big challenge to keep that streak alive up there in Pittsburgh.
He's used to it.
The way that it swirls around, and the turf up there is not in real good shape either. The grass up there has been not ideal in times past. In fact, it was kind of messy Sunday when they played the Jaguars.
At least he's used to kicking in cold weather.
Yeah. I'm more concerned with Pickett because 45 degrees and a rib injury.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough enough to breathe as it is, and then you're breathing in that cold air. Oh,
hurt.
Yeah,
question.
That should be fun. That should be fun.
Terry, we appreciate it. Obviously, this segment is brought to you every day by Zen Sports. So we will definitely let them know that if they have a gambling problem, what's the number to call?
1-800-889-9789 is the number. And like I said, it's your Titans Daily Report brought to you by Zen Sports. See you tomorrow, guys.
Thanks, Terry.
We'll take a quick break. And Joseph Sullivan joins us, talk a little college hoops right after this. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
It's the biggest racing show of the year, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter mile Friday night, pole qualifying and 3 big feature events Saturday night, and the Curb Records Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 6:30 Friday, 5 o'clock Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing or at the gate on race day. It's the 39th All-American 400 weekend, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton here on this wild and wacky Wednesday. The weirdest and wildest news from across the world will come your way here in just a little bit. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about some college hoops as we have on the line with us our favorite college basketball voice. That is Joseph Sullivan. What's going on, man? Long time no talk, but it's hoops season.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you guys since March, and it's great to be back on. Thanks for having me. It's Monday night. It all starts at college basketball. People I know are probably preoccupied with other things like the Titans, but not me. I'm ready.
You are ready. Not only are you ready, but you are helping get people ready with your blog, NashvilleHoops.blog.
Thanks for mentioning that.
I'm looking forward to keeping up with this thing as this season progresses, because, you know, we know that you are a mid-major aficionado, as are we. And in your introduction here, says we're here to talk Nashville hoops, Belmont, Lipscomb, MTSU, TSU, and Vanderbilt. And again, if you are a college basketball fan in this area, it would behoove you to find and probably bookmark NashvilleHoops.blog. And Joe, your name came up last week as we were talking about the NCAA's atrocious decision as it relates to the NIT going forward. I'm not sure you can say anything that we haven't already, but give it a shot.
Yeah, probably not. And I, of course, agree with you that I do think it was atrocious. And I do think this is the beginning of the end, probably, of NCAA basketball as we know it, as the football schools decide to take all their teams and play among themselves and not include schools that are mid-majors. And at some point, maybe not in my lifetime, I hope I don't live to see it. I'm kidding. That the NCAA tournament will not be what we thought it was, that it'll just be the six, maybe in just the 5 power schools. I don't know what happens to the Big East. They're not football involved, obviously. But they're going to take their ball and go home. And I think this is a trial balloon of sorts for it, that they want to exclude mid-majors and from the NIT, not giving them automatic bids if you win a regular season championship. I mean, it's bad enough the selection committee doesn't give these schools respect for the big tournament, and at least they had that going for them. If they lost their conference tournament, they would have an NIT bid, and now that's gone too. The disrespect is quite large, I think, and I also think it's tone deaf. I just don't think fans like this. I really don't. I think fans would prefer it the way it was, and maybe I'm in my own little world and mixed up and wrong. I don't know. That's the way I think. So we agree, right?
We absolutely agree. I mean, I think if you watch the way the nation was captivated by Florida Atlantic's run last year, Loyola's run a few years ago, different things like that, I think that time of year, unless you are UT, who has lost 2, Loyola and Sister Jean, you kind of like that underdog, you like that Cinderella. People kind of gravitate to that, and so the NCAA has taken that out of the mix from the NIT standpoint, and again, it's just so obvious after you saw 3 of the 4 teams in the semifinals of the NITB, North Texas, UAB, and Utah Valley.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, and I guess this is the revenge for this. It's because that happened, they felt they had to do this. And look, the NIT in a grand scheme of things is not that important. I think we can all agree on that. It's an afterthought. Only, people who are obsessed with college basketball really watch it. I count me in. But it is. But it just, to me, it seems like it's the trial balloon to do something bigger, and that really will be damaging to college basketball as we know.
It feels like the trial balloon, and it feels like the NCAA is just kind of Bigfooting this whole situation.
It really does.
I wonder if this isn't a way for the NCAA to try and keep the olive branch out there to keep football schools from creating their own division.
You could look at it that way. I mean, I guess that's a possibility. So we're just going to give you everything you want, so you'll stay. and the heck with the rest of the membership. I guess you could look
Majors.
at it that way.
Yeah.
It's the other thing that was floated recently is Fox TV trying to start its own postseason tournament
In
with
Vegas?
just teams from the in Vegas, just with the schools from the football conferences. Same type of thing. You know, they're going to be beholden to their TV partners. That's where they get the big money. So, as lousy as that would be, I just wouldn't be surprised if it went through.
Well, here's the thing, though. Again, it's the National Invitational Tournament. NCAA schools are they bound to take an NIT bid if they are offered it?
No.
So they could potentially play in this Fox tournament, whether or not they're invited to the NIT. So I mean, I guess there's that.
Yeah, there's lots of teams that have turned down NIT bids over
The
the
the problem is because let's look at these two side by side. You've got Fox who's talking about a Power 6 conference only tournament in Las Vegas, or you can go to the NIT where UAB or North Texas or whoever might beat you. You know, now your program is getting beaten by mid-majors. That further solidifies your place in the world of college basketball. Or you can go over here and you get, you know, if you're, let's say, Wake Forest and you get beat by Illinois, not that big of a deal.
That's true. It's true. It's I think here's the solution. We just have to enjoy the NCAA tournament in its present form for as long as we have it.
There you
because
go.
I think its days are numbered.
There you go. Joseph Sullivan, former Boston Globe editor and operator of NashvilleHoops.blog, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
I thought you might ask me about Josh McDaniels today, getting whacked by the Raiders.
Oh, well,
He would know.
Yeah. Now that you mention it.
So I think he gets classified as someone who is a coordinator and not a head coach. There's been a lot of them through the years.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But I mean, to be a head coach, you got to run the whole team. And I think it's pretty clear that it's not the job for him right now. I mean, he's failed twice miserably.
That he has.
Miserably.
And you said the exact same words. That he
Miserably.
failed miserably twice. So,
yes.
Anyway.
Joe, one of the teams that you'll be covering on your blog is Vanderbilt.
Yes.
What do you make of them as they head into the 23-24 season?
I think they're a real question mark. I don't think, there was talk last year that they were on the bubble at the end of the year. I guess they were. I don't think they're really any kind of a legitimate candidate for the NCAA tournament last year. I mean, they had some horrible early season losses, including one to Grambling State. And what they've got to do is to have any chance at all is to take care of business against the so-called bye games where they're paying people to come to Memorial Gymnasium. Jerry Stackhouse said at SEC Media Day that they're not going to – he literally said they're going to run it up on these teams because that's the way you improve your net rating. So, of course, I couldn't help but think that he couldn't run up on Grambling. He lost to him last season. But I checked in with Joe Lunardi, who's a friend of mine, the ESPN bracketologist, whether that's actually true, if running it up on these types of opponents would help them. And he said it is true that Jerry's correct, that the best way to increase your net ranking is to beat the spread against the team you're playing. Not that. Well, actually, the Vegas spread often is the Pomeroy rankings now, the Ken Pom ratings. So that he's right about that goal. So let's hope he can do it. What it comes down to with Vanderbilt is I still think they have a lot of unknown pieces. They have two good guards in Tyrene Lawrence and Ezra Manjone, but those two players are flawed. They got to rely on some transfers. A big kid from Notre Dame, his name is Van Allen Lubin, and a shooter from Lehigh named Evan Taylor. I haven't seen these guys play. I've seen the other four teams that we write about on our blog practice in person. I haven't seen Vanderbilt. I will see them Tuesday night against Presbyterian. So I'm really unsure, Mo. I wish I could give you a better answer. I would say I'm dubious. I think I don't have high hopes, I would say.
Tell me about Tennessee State.
So Tennessee State, I think, is really interesting. They have Marcus Fitzgerald coming back to play his fourth year guard, Nashville kid, Pearl Cohn High School, and he's very steady. And then they have a transfer from Eastern Illinois. This kid was the newcomer of the year in the OVC, and he transferred from Eastern Illinois to Tennessee State. That gives them a really good backcourt right there, a veteran backcourt. And then Penny Collins, their coach, is very high on this kid named Jarrett Jidoba, who's a transfer from Florida, grad transfer from Florida. He has not done much at Florida. He is huge, 7 feet, 300 pounds. And Penny feels he can change the whole program, that he can make a huge difference for them. And then they need Christian Brown, their forward, who's a transfer from Georgia, but he's been at Tennessee State. This is his third year. They need him to stay healthy. He's a good player. The OVC is not what the OVC was even 2 years ago. If they're decent enough, I think they could be a contender in the OVC, and they might make the NCAA tournament.
7 foot 300 isn't something you find walking around in the Ohio Valley Conference.
You sure do not.
I would tend to agree with Penny that that's a difference maker.
It really could be. And the practice I watched, he's pretty. He's not stationary. He's not. It looks like his feet are good and he can get up and down. So I think Penny is always a confident guy. But I think it's interesting. And the other thing is their schedule's not that challenging. I think they can win some games. So I like them.
That makes sense. Belmont, as you just said, the OVC not as strong as it was just 2 years ago as Belmont and Murray State left. Belmont picked fifth in the Missouri Valley Conference after finishing tied for third in 2022-23.
That's got to be a little culture shock for them. I mean, I know that they knew that the level of competition was going to go up, and that's why they left. But I don't think they expected to be fifth in anybody's league.
I'll be honest with you. I think they shocked the world last year when they were third. They certainly shocked the Valley. Do you think that they could shock the Valley again?
So I guess the way I described them on the story I wrote on my blog is they are intriguing but untested. So look, they have a first team All-League player coming back in Cade Tyson, known quantity. Keyshawn Davidson is a guard who originally played at Tennessee Tech and then transferred to Belmont. He was hurt all last year with a shoulder injury, but played through it. He's healthy. He's
Oakland kid.
Yeah, he's a real solid player. And they have a sophomore guard, Jacoby Gillespie, who could really bloom this year. But the real key will be this player, Malik Dia, Murfreesboro. He transferred from Vanderbilt. Like he had a couple of moments at Vanderbilt. Like he had hit like 3 threes against Kentucky, as I recall. And you see the talent that when I was at the Belmont practice, he is obviously the biggest, strongest, most talented kid in the gym. And Casey Alexander said to me, he has a chance to be the best player he's had at Belmont. That
I
being
can see
said,
that. I saw him in the East-West All-Star game at the end of his senior year coming out of Ensworth. He's about 6'7", 6'8", about 220-ish, and he's got – I don't know how it didn't work at Vanderbilt, but he's got it. I mean, handles, shot from the perimeter, can get to the rim. I'm excited about him at Belmont.
if he were to fulfill potential, they have a chance to win the MVC, but it won't be easy. As you guys said, I mean, this is much tougher league than they're used to playing, and there's a lot of good competition in there. Drake will be very good again. Northern Iowa has everyone back pretty much. That's the main competition. Bradley will be good. And the road trips are tough in that league.
You're right. That's what I was thinking. You know, as much as the competition, it's the places that you have to go.
But they got to come to you too.
Yeah. It ain't as tough coming to Nashville as it is going to Northern Iowa and Peoria and places like that, I don't think. No.
So I was at their tip-off luncheon Monday, and the kids were the players that were talking they asked them about the MVC. Steve Lehman asked them about playing the MVC, and they talked about going on the road there and how the venues are like the OVC can't compare to it. These are big arenas with people in the stands cheering very hard for their home team. It's a different environment, and it's a tough place. They're tough road trips there.
Arenas, not gyms, as we heard somebody else say. So yeah.
Yeah, do you know, that'd be a great. Where do you like? What's the definition of when a gym becomes an arena? You know, it's a good question, right?
It really, well, I mean, that's kind of what, I guess whoever we were talking about with the Pac-12, with going to, with Gonzaga going to the Big 12 potentially, going from playing in gyms to playing in arenas on the road is a big difference every night. So, it is interesting, but I think Belmont certainly has an opportunity to be very, very successful this year.
We'll see. I think we'll see. I want to. You got to. Dia has to come through, and he hasn't done it yet. Even at Vanderbilt, just moments. So we shall see. They start Monday night at home against Georgia State.
I think the team I'm most interested to hear his perspective on is Middle Tennessee State, because I think we've heard from Nick McDevitt enough.
We've heard from Nick. We've heard from Justin Buford.
Yes.
At CUSA Media Day. What are your thoughts about Middle?
I heard your interview with Nick. Great guy. Nick, as always, a positive person. And the question I asked him when I talked to him was like, do you make your own schedule? And he said his assistant, I got to look at my notes. Wes Long, I think. Wes Long is his assistant. He does it, but Nick has final approval. And
they should both be fired, right?
Well, this schedule, it's just very unusual. It's filled with these mid-majors that are really hard. A lot of them are home games, though. But there are games that could go either way. And they're still a team. And I think the way Nick phrases it, like people that were the 4th, 5th, and 6th guys on the team now have to be 1, 2, 3. They're all kind of moving up the ladder after being there. And so they got to do more. And they haven't done more. And these, they have a team coming in next week. Monday night, they have Northern Kentucky. Monday night, who's picked to win the Horizon League. Then Thursday night, they have Stephen F. Austin coming in from the WAC, who's picked second in the WAC. And these are, you go on, and their whole schedule is filled with these teams picked at the top of these mid-major leagues that could pick you off if you're not playing well. So it could be a doomsday march for them, or I tell you, the reverse is if they won all these games, suddenly you might be thinking about an at-large bid because they collect so many good good net rankings.
Yeah, I mean,
they'll win some, they'll lose some, is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but I mean, you add UAB, who is consistently good, Missouri State and Belmont out of the MVC we just talked about, and then they go to St. Mary's.
Yeah, that's a great game to play. They'll lose. Because very few people win there. Speaking of gyms, that's that's a bandbox, the McKean Pavilion out there. It's the other place they go is Southern Utah. So the CUSA has, you guys probably know this, but in case the listeners don't, has an alliance with the Western Athletic Conference. So they play 2 games against each other, and the home game they got was Stephen F. Austin, and the road game is to Southern Utah. Which how you get to Southern Utah, you go to nowhere and make a right. It's really in the middle of nowhere, and I don't even know how they're going to get there. It's like a coin flip. You fly to either Phoenix or Vegas, then drive forever. I swear to God.
Well, but that being said, tough out of conference schedule, should be very competitive in their conference.
Yes, I think the CUSA is not as good as it was. I think many of the best teams went to the American, so they have a chance to do well there. But again, I think even worse than Missouri Valley, some of the trips. Holy cow. El Paso and Mexico State, and these are tough trips.
And pretty good teams once you get there.
Yes, and the 2 I just mentioned are very good home teams. There's a great tradition at both those schools.
Man, basketball season is getting ready. I'm excited. I mean, this is going to be a really intriguing year, I think, Joe. It feels like one of those years that the top even is not clear. There's no clear cut. Hey, these are the teams that we think are going to be there at the end of the year, and nobody's really arguing it. Everybody is kind of vulnerable right now.
I think also what makes Chris, I think I agree with you. It's a good point. is the name, image, and likeness. As much as some of us may cringe at it, and I do, because it's not traditional, but the fact is, it has allowed players to return, to stay in college, and makes a lot of teams better. The transfer portal, if you start looking at like pro free agency, it becomes an interesting aspect to it. But like it's 100 tickets in, the 7-footer transfers to Kansas. That makes them a super team practically. And then I saw them on TV in an exhibition game Sunday, lose to Illinois. Illinois looks really good. So I think there are going to be a lot of really good teams up there. But as you said, no clear-cut one. I must admit, if I had to pick a team now to win the national championship, I think I like Duke. Just really like their mix of players.
Who is this year's Florida Atlantic, and why is it Florida Atlantic?
Their schedule is going to be a lot tougher. They will not do what they did last year. A lot tougher non-conference, and they're in a tougher league with the American. And it's funny. The nights I caught them, I caught the Middle Tennessee beat them, and I was like, so what's the big deal? And then they went to the Final Four. I think I would foresee them leveling off this year, especially. Now you're going to ask me to pick who's going to be this year's Florida Atlantic. It's difficult at this hour. I don't feel completely nationally studied, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think Drake is a team in the MVC that has the Player of the Year back in DeVries, and they brought in a bunch of good transfers. Drake is a very interesting team. They're the rightful favorite in the MVC, and I think they're going to be very good. They might be someone who could do something like that.
The thing about Florida Atlantic, though, Joe, is they get everybody back from that team. And, they lose the element of surprise, obviously. But those guys they're a Final Four team. They are as tested as you can possibly be, and they get everybody back.
Yeah, and it's boy, I tell you, it's such the margin of error is so thin. Like I was there at the game when they played Memphis in the first round. Game could have gone either way, all right down to the wire, and they win. And it's like then
Memphis could have saved everybody a lot of trouble.
Definitely a game that could have gone either way, and that's the way the tournament works. No one gets through.
And now that's a conference game.
That's right. Hey, Memphis should be interesting too. They'll be good. And hey, I shouldn't leave out Tennessee. They're going to be great. That exhibition game the other day against Michigan State was very impressive. They might score some points this year, which would really make a difference.
We don't want to hear that Tennessee might be great.
I got to deliver that message.
That's just going to be
battered ball syndrome is real.
There's no doubt. Yeah, Joe. As always, it's a pleasure. We will certainly be talking with you much more as basketball season continues, and we look forward to that. We appreciate you. And again, folks, visit NashvilleHoops.blog because that's where you will find the most comprehensive coverage of Middle Tennessee college basketball. There's no question.
Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we react to the college football playoff rankings. Should be fun. Right after this, stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company Technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here with you on this wild and wacky Wednesday. Again, the weirdest and wildest news coming from across the world, and looking forward to this one as we talk about the college football playoff. And Justin, I don't know if you pulled up news slides or not today, but do have the – there it is right there, the rankings. So college football rankings were released last night, and also at like 2:56 yesterday on this show when Mo nailed the top four. Got it exactly right. Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State. Now after that, we all kind of got a little crazy. But you nailed the top four, and, you know, in a world where there are 5 undefeated teams, that's not always easy to do.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there's a perception that Georgia has not played as well as Ohio State to this point.
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, and I thought that probably got to the committee. I didn't think they would put, even though they say conference affiliation doesn't matter, I didn't think they would set up the top 4 in a way that would possibly have 2 conference teams playing each other. So, because I'm not sure that Florida State doesn't deserve to be ahead of Michigan. But
well, Michigan has dominated everybody. They ain't played nobody,
right?
But they've dominated everybody.
I mean,
Florida State, not so much.
Well, and that's something to be said, I guess, for dominating the folks that you play.
Yeah.
Even if they're not very good, at least you did what you were supposed to do with them.
Yeah, you didn't almost lose to Boston College. So, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see where the thing that I thought was most intriguing was Boo Corrigan saying that the sign stealing allegations were not a college football playoff problem, but an NCAA problem. Well, if it's an NCAA problem, it feels like it would be a college football playoff problem, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Because here's the thing.
I guess what he's saying is if they are eligible for the college football playoff, then we are going to rank them where they deserve to go. Now, if they're not eligible, that's between them and the NCAA.
And I guess that's fair, but also is it
real?
Is it fair?
Is it fair?
As we talked about yesterday, yeah, they've dominated everybody, but
how?
Clearly they've had some help.
I don't know how, as a committee, though, if nobody else is willing to say how this has been done, I don't know that it's their responsibility to figure it out.
Yeah, but how does it not even come up in conversation? How is it not a part of the conversation? Yeah. Like, I mean, what's the monkey with the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil? Yeah. That's kind of the way it is. I mean, and I don't know that I love that, but also, I mean, especially when you have another undefeated team that you could have put in
that didn't cheat.
that clearly is not cheating because they are struggling to beat Stanford and Arizona State. So, and I mean, maybe that's, who knows, but it just seems silly to me. I don't know. After that, though, Oregon being the first
One loss.
one-loss team ranked is a little surprising. And the fact that Washington has the best win of anybody on this board and is not in the top 4 is almost insane. Think about it.
Yeah.
You're telling me that I beat the 6th best team and nobody else has beat anybody in the top 10, but I'm not worth the top 4 ranking.
And the top 10, look at you splitting hairs because Ohio State beat number 11 Penn State.
Yeah, but I mean, Ohio State's number 1.
And that's an intriguing way to look at it, I guess.
I mean, if you think
Well, I
they're
mean,
the
there
6th
was-
best team, then
There are 4 spots. There are 5 unbeaten teams. I mean, you can't put all 5 of them up there.
and one of them may or may not have cheated to get to be undefeated, and the other one beat the number 6 team in the country. Oh, by the way, number 3's beat nobody in this list. Nobody,
But they beaten the hell out of everybody they played
because they
because
apparently cheated. So I mean, this is what I mean. If I'm in the room, these are the conversations I'm having, and ain't no way I'm voting for Michigan to be in the top 4 if I'm in the room.
You've got 1 vote.
I understand that, but I want to know who else was making this conversation, who else was making this argument. Because when they
It seems as if no one was.
well, somebody was. They are much like the SEC and the, we're going to vote unanimously.
United front.
Yeah, we leave this room. We're all united. We don't.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody leaving. But after that, Texas, Alabama, all have. I think Oregon, Texas, Alabama, and Oklahoma all have a chance to get into the top 4. After that, I'm not sure anybody. I mean, Ole Miss maybe
I'm sorry. Who'd you say again?
up to 9.
Up to 9. I don't know if Oklahoma does or not. I mean, they do have the win over Texas, but they've also, again, got the loss to Kansas, and I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like.
Well, I think Alabama would have to be out. I think Alabama would have to lose an SEC championship game or something. I think that Oregon would have to not make the Pac-12 championship game, and then Washington would have to lose the Pac-12 championship game. And I think it would be a very it's the longest of longs shots.
Mhm.
I think Ole Miss could do it if Alabama was to lose to LSU and Ole Miss doesn't lose again, and then they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. I guess they could get in. They only have the one loss to Alabama.
So let me run through this.
Of course, they got to play Georgia, by the way. They play Georgia in the regular season.
Let me run through this college football playoff committee for you.
Okay.
Chris Ault, former coach in Nevada, I believe. Mitch Barnhart, Kentucky AD. Boo Corrigan.
NC State, right?
Chet Gladney, yeah, Boo Corrigan from NC State, I'm pretty sure. Chet Gladchuk, Navy AD. I'm sorry.
No
I'm
wonder
having-
Notre Dame's so far down.
Jim Grobe, Mark Harlan, who I'm not familiar with, and I'm having to click on. Okay, he's Utah's AD.
Okay.
Ward Manuel,
Okay.
athletics director at the University of Michigan. So I mean, who do you feel like? That's not the entirety of it. I don't recognize very many of these other names, but who do
Miami
you-
of Ohio, AD. I'm trying to.
Joe Taylor is former coach at Hampton.
How about Will Shields, the owner and operator of a gymnasium and sports facility in Kansas?
There we go.
Because that guy, Kansas State AD, Rod West, who is, again, the president of a utility and operations for energy company.
And former
And-
Sports Illustrated, maybe, journalist, Kelly Whiteside.
Spent 14 years with Gannett.
Well,
And was
that
also
makes sense.
with Sports Illustrated and the New York Times.
Okay. So
Does he have to leave the room if they talk about Michigan?
I don't know, but my question where I was trying to go with that was, who do you feel like out of that bunch is most likely to bring up Michigan in the manner that you did?
Nobody, because there's
That's-
nobody out west.
Yeah.
Utah, maybe.
So
Maybe Utah's guy.
I don't know, maybe Utah's guy, but maybe not.
So I don't know.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it comes up, whether it should or not. I don't know that it does.
I'm amending my statement that Ole Miss can certainly find their way to the top 4. I mean, if they beat Georgia in the regular season
Mm-hmm.
and then win the SEC championship, and their only loss is to Alabama. Of course, if they may not win the SEC championship, if Alabama wins out, Ole Miss doesn't go to the SEC championship, even if they do win out.
That's true.
Even if they beat Georgia, wouldn't that be something? It would still be Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Mhm.
So I don't know, but I think Ole Miss could, with some help, play its way in. That's it. I mean, I don't think you're going to see, Penn State. I don't think you're going to see Missouri, Louisville. Certainly not 2-loss LSU, 2-loss Notre Dame, 2-loss Oregon State, and 2-loss Tennessee. Are you surprised that Tennessee's behind Oregon State?
I've not dissected either of them to the point. I mean, I just wasn't expecting to see either of them in the top 10, and so I hadn't really been concerned.
I mean, and I don't really know what it necessarily matters.
Yeah, at 16 and 17.
After 10, it really doesn't matter, I don't think. But boy, if when you look at this, thinking about next year,
When it's 12 teams.
then it gets real interesting. Now,
It gets
Tulane is the top-ranked G5
G5.
team. We said that was going to happen, and it did. So nailed that one. But yeah, you could. I mean, you're thinking, and here's the thing: is Missouri gets knocked out in favor of Tulane. They'd be the 12th team instead of Missouri.
As of right now.
And honestly, let's think about this. As of right now, everybody talks about, there's an argument at every cutoff.
Mhm.
Is there really an argument at Penn State and Missouri?
I don't know that there is.
No. I don't think anybody would argue, Missouri deserves to get in over Penn State right now.
No.
So that makes me feel a little bit better about it.
About going to 12.
And then the 12 that you get, that's as good as it gets. Any of those 12 could win the national championship in a college football playoff.
In a playoff scenario. Yeah. And again, if you insert Tulane from Missouri right there, yeah, take that and roll. I'm good with that.
I am too. I think that.
So
it's
that
not
would
gonna be that year. It's not going to be that way every year. It's probably not going to be that way in 3 weeks when when some of these games get played. If Georgia romps Ole Miss, then Ole Miss clearly doesn't deserve.
But under this scenario here, what you've got is in a 12-team playoff, you would have Washington and Tulane.
No, you would not. You would actually have Michigan and Tulane.
That's right, because that
Conference
G5
champion.
team is going to.
Well, the conference champion. So the top 4 would actually be conference champions, and Michigan and Ohio State can't both be conference champions. So Washington would be the 4. Florida State would be the 3.
Okay.
And so you'd have Michigan, Tulane, Oregon, Penn State, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma. Bunch of SEC games in the middle.
There you go. Yeah, right. Okay.
But yeah, that's what you would get. I mean, you don't think that Tulane could beat Michigan? I do.
Well, I mean, For a team that hasn't played anybody to this point, get them into the fourth quarter and see what happens.
Sure.
And use wristbands.
And, Oregon Penn State would be a fantastic football game, a Big Ten preview.
Yeah, right.
But would be a fantastic game. And obviously, Alabama, Oklahoma would be in Texas, Ole Miss. Are you kidding me? This would be the most exciting weekend in the history of college football.
Yeah.
If that were to take place. So I'm looking forward to the 12-team playoff. I don't care if you are or not.
It's not very
Looking
nice.
at you at CFB Nerds. Love those guys. Disagree with them on the playoff. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so I think as outside of Michigan, I think they got it as right as they could get it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no chance of having Michigan in the top. But again, it's going to work itself out.
Yeah, it's going to work itself out. Exactly.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company Technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's time now to take a look at the weirdest and wildest news from across the world, and Mo will start out in Utah because
Southern Utah?
the middle of nowhere, Utah. I don't know where the city of Grantsville is.
Grantsville, Utah.
Grantsville, Utah. Wonder if they named it after Ulysses.
I was wondering about that.
I don't know. Where is Grantsville, Not sure.
It's located in Toole County, south of I-80.
Oh, south of I-80. There's some
Named for George D. Grant. You know, old George D. Grant.
Yeah, George D.
Part of the Salt Lake City metropolitan statistical
Gotcha.
area. So it's like a suburb, I guess.
Well, it's against city code to attach anything to a street sign.
So like lost pet signs, that kind of thing, can't do it.
Or skeletons who appear to be pole dancing. Can't do that either.
Pole dancing
All on the
skeletons.
stop sign.
That's probably not a good idea, even if you can put things on a street sign. But okay.
Here's the worst part is it was actually kind of close to a school. It's now been moved to a front yard and features a new pole for the dancing skeleton. The display split the community, the outlet reported,
Split the community?
according to Fox 13. Yeah. Some deeming it inappropriate while others bought their own decorations and left money in the tip jar. It's Utah, man, so who knows? Oh, man. That's so good.
That's funny.
Hey, your buddy is back in the news.
Who that?
Otter 841.
Oh no! Flipping over more boats.
No, it is not stealing. It's not stealing surfboards, flipping over boats. It actually gave birth.
Maybe that's
Don't even go there. We have women who watch this show. But they will secretly agree with you. Yes, that is why. There's no question. That is 100% why she was stealing the surfboards and flipping over boats and evading capture.
well. At least we got an explanation. Because it didn't make sense otherwise.
Now we know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. Oh man.
Oh.
No attempts or plans to capture Sea Otter 841 any longer.
Or her offspring.
Or her pup. That's right. So,
Otter 841 plus 1. Fish and Wildlife pauses efforts to capture surfboard stealing otter after she gives birth to pup.
yeah, they're like, oh, we did
Infamous Otter 841 has a new partner in crime.
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, Mo, I don't know. I don't know how much you know about it, but
Wait a minute.
city-
Wait.
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We can't leave Otter 841 just yet because the LA Times, the story doesn't use the lead in. Santa Cruz's Sea Otter 841 has given birth to a wee pup, suggesting that her erratic behavior could have been hormonally driven.
No.
There you
Thanks, guys.
go. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I just had to get that in.
All right. So, St. Augustine, Florida, for $45, Mo, you can get a ticket to the inaugural Florida Man Games. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Will there be lawnmower races
There will
in
be
this?
everything that you can think of in the Florida Man Games. Let's just go take a look at what type of games you can, in fact, expect. Weaponized pool noodle mud duel. The evading arrest obstacle course, where you can jump over fences through backyards and away from actual police officers to earn your freedom. The Category 5 cash grab. Subject yourself to Category 5 wins as you scramble to get as much cash as you can. A catalytic converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper pipes. Race against time. The Beer Belly Florida Sumo. And the judges for said events will be Dan Clark and Lori Fetrick,
Better known as
Nitro and Ice, former American Gladiators. It's going to be amazing.
February 24th, 2024, Francis Fields, St. Augustine.
It is the country's oldest city will host the country's most exciting games.
Wow. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Tomorrow we have David Ubben as well as Kit Hartsfield, who will take his Mount Pleasant Tigers to Parsons, Tennessee to take on Decatur County Riverside on Coach's Corner. So come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We will see you then.